Hello. Welcome to our webinar. We're so excited for everyone who signed up and showed up this morning. Today, we're going to talk about how to turn your Ancestry data, or if you don't have an Ancestry account, any data about your ancestry that you've collected, and how to turn all of that into a family history calendar, which is one of our most popular products here on MyCanvas, along with our books and posters. But today we're talking strictly calendars. I'm Laurel Link, and I'm happy to welcome you guys today and tell you a little bit about MyCanvas before I turn it over to Meg for the live demonstration. Here at MyCanvas, our mission is to bring people together and help bond generations by turning family history into art, books, and gifts that bring the past into the present. We love turning, data and names and numbers into something really beautiful that you can share with your whole family and get the younger generations excited about learning more about their past. We are able to do this through our exclusive partnership with Ancestry.com. So you'll notice with our books and some of our posters and our calendars, you can connect your Ancestry account, although you're not required to. But if you have one, we're able to pull all that data right in. And I'm just pointing out that we have a partnership with Ancestry because we are not Ancestry.com. We're a separate company. So any issues you have with your Ancestry account, you can contact them for, but we're just happy to be partnering to be able to use the data you've already spent all the time and effort to collect with them, turning them into products with us. And we do know a thing or two about Ancestry, so if you have some quick little questions, we're always happy to try to help you out with those. One more thing about this current team here at MyCanvas, we had to rebuild the MyCanvas website and the way that you make books and posters with us in 2018, so a few years ago. But we had to start from scratch because the platform that the site was originally built on using Adobe Flash was no longer going to be supported. So we started from scratch. So if you are a long-time MyCanvas user for many years, you might notice that the site changed. Some of the features are different, but we're still working to restore some of the old features, add some new improved features. And so that's why we were excited to start this series of webinars to help show you how to use some of the new features and the best way to make a project on our site. We have done a couple of webinars already on making books and posters, and those are available on our YouTube channel if you want to watch a replay. And we also have an upcoming webinar for how to make a poster if you don't have an Ancestry account. So if you're interested in that, we'll talk a little bit more about how to get signed up at the end of this webinar. So that's my introduction to MyCanvas. Enough about us. We're going to do a little poll for you folks who are watching to get a read on your experience with MyCanvas, kind of help Meg to know if we're dealing with folks who have never made a project, have made a project. So you're going to see on your screen a new window pop up with a poll that is asking you just that. Have you made an ordered project on MyCanvas? And you can fill in the appropriate answer if you've made a book or a poster or a calendar or something else. We do offer wall art and photo books, a few other things, or if you've never placed an order before. So you'll have just a few seconds to click your answer, and then we'll be able to see what everyone has said. Okay. I'm always curious to get the answers, especially since our books and posters are so popular. I feel like we might have a handful of folks who have made one of those. We'll see. Oh, yep, looks like a few folks have made a poster, a few books. No one's made a calendar before, so that's good to know. Meg will be starting from right how to get started and how to make it perfect. So we're going to cover everything you need. And a lot of folks have never placed an order yet. So we'll be sure to get you really familiar with the site so you're fully comfortable by the time we're done here. I just have one more bit of instruction before I hand it over to Meg. We do want you to be able to ask us questions and get answers as we're explaining things and going through the demo. So if you look on your Zoom window at the very bottom, you will see a Q&A question and answer icon that you can click on. to, sorry, Ron, I'll slow down. I just clicked on it. That you can click on the Q&A to pop up a new window and type in a question. So if you have a question, just type it in. And we have a few folks on the call besides Meg and myself. Most of the rest of the MyCanvas team here ready to answer your questions. We only ask that if it's a question about, actually building the calendar and you have a feeling it might get answered a little farther down in the demonstration, maybe something Meg hasn't talked about yet, but you're curious how to do, you can hold off till the end to ask that question just in case it gets answered. And we will have a little bit of extra time at the end for additional questions, and Meg will answer them live for everybody. And we will also be able to share a document full of your questions and answers after the webinar, so you can see everyone's questions and get even more information when we're done here today. So with all of that, I'm going to hand it over to Meg, who runs all things operations here at MyCanvas. She's our calendar making expert. And you might already be familiar with Meg if you've ever visited our YouTube channel. She is the lovely voice on all those tutorials and videos that we have up on there. So Meg, I'm handing it over to you.
Awesome, thank you. I am now sharing my screen. So today I'm going to walk through our family history calendar builder, and I'm going to try and share some tips and tricks for building a calendar with MyCanvas. You can build the style of calendar that I'm going to show today with or without an Ancestry account, but today I'm going to build one with an Ancestry account using my Ancestry data. So before beginning any project on MyCanvas that uses your Ancestry data, you're going to want to log in with your Ancestry account. You can do that by heading to the upper right-hand corner and choosing this Login button. Then you can select the green Login with Ancestry button. And you will be directed to a point where you can enter your Ancestry login. Once you sign in with that information, you will be connected with your Ancestry data. So I have a message here that tells me I've been successfully logged in and I'm ready to begin my project. So to find the family history calendar, I will go to Products in the top navigation bar, then to Ancestry Family History. And here you can see all of our Ancestry data products. And I'm going to select Family History Wall Calendar. We offer just one standard style of family history calendar, so you can see it pictured here. So it's really easy to get started. You just hit the Continue button, and then you select Start a New Creation. The first thing you'll do is select the starting month for your calendar. Right now, you can start a calendar all the way up to January 2025. So if you're planning ahead, there's lots of options for you. I'm going to start mine in April of 2023. One thing to be sure of is this starting date, because once you select it, you're unable to change it moving forward once you've begun editing and adding things to your calendar. So make sure you pick the month you'd really like to use in this step. And then you're also able to choose the start date. So Monday or Sunday. I'm going to choose Sunday because that's what I prefer. And once I've chosen both of those things, I'll select Preview Your Creation. Then you'll be taken into the editor page and you'll be seeing this tool pop up. That's our Add Events tool. So this is where you'll do the bulk of your preparation for your calendar before you begin editing. And you'll use this tool to add all the special events that will appear on your calendar pages. So one of the best parts of this calendar, I would say, is that you can take that Ancestry data and you can pull from a specific family tree and add birthdays, anniversaries, all that fun stuff. So you'll start by selecting the family tree for your Ancestry account. And then you'll select the starting person that you'd like to pull data for. You can type that in. And then you can choose the number of generations that you would like to include for pulling the data. So I'm going to choose 5. You can choose ancestors or descendants, but I'm going to stick with ancestors. And then you can hit the Get People button, and it'll take a few seconds here to pull all of your data points from your Ancestry account. And eventually here you can see a list of all my Ancestry data points in the bottom of the Add Events tool. You can see that birthdays are noted with a little cake emoji, anniversaries are with a little chapel, and death dates do not have an emoji with them. It's very easy to add these to your calendar. You can either click the checkbox here on the side to add singular events. You can use the Select All button to select every event, or you can unselect them all. And say if you just want birthdays on your calendar, you can choose the births button here, and it will add only the birthdays to your calendar. So you can do that for births, deaths, or marriages, or a combination of the two. So I've selected births and marriages, and I'm going to hit the Add Selected Events button. And you can see here on the right-hand side, all of my Ancestry events that will be added to my calendar are listed on the right-hand side and highlighted in green. The next type of event that you will be able to add is holidays, and you'll head to the Holidays button on the top toolbar here. You can choose the country and the type of holiday you're looking to add, but the default is United States national holidays. Again, you can add events by selecting all, or you can individually click a few holidays to add. And once you've selected all the holidays you'd like to add, you'll again choose the Add Selected Events button. And you can see my holidays have been added. Independence Day is here in July, and it's highlighted in yellow. The next type of event that you can add are previous creation events. So if you've made a calendar with MyCanvas in the past, and you'd like to reference that for a new project, you can hit this Previous Creations button, and then you can select a previous order, and it will list all of the events that were in that calendar. So if you'd like to add anything from those, you can select anything by checking those boxes, add the selected event, and you should be able to see it in your calendar. And the final type of event that you can add is a new event. So that would be if you have something that's not in your Ancestry data, or a holiday that's not listed, or a special vacation you're going on, you can type that in, just whatever you need to type here. So I'm going to put a trip to Disney World on my calendar, and I'm going to choose the date that that's going to happen. And again, it will be added to your list of events. For some reason though, I'm having a little bit of there it is, trip to Disney World. So you click the Add Event button, and there it is highlighted in red. So now I've got all my events added. I added from my Ancestry data, I added holidays, and I added any special events. I'm going to double check my list here on the right-hand side. And if there's anything I don't want to include in my calendar, I can use this X button next to any event to remove that from my calendar. So once you're sure you've got all the events for your calendar, you can hit this blue Update My Calendar button, and they will be added into your pages. So you can see here a couple events on each of these blocks of calendar pages. If you happen to forget to add an event, or you'd like to add from another family tree or another person, you can always add more events by heading to this Add Events button in the upper right-hand corner. When you select that, you'll be taken back into your events list. You can select a new family tree and add more people that way, more events that way. You can add more new events. And then you just update My Calendar, and those will be added in with your existing events that you've already added. So before you begin editing anything within your calendar, after you've added all of your events, you're going to want to save your project so that the work that you're doing is saved for you. So you'll type in a title for your project and hit the Save button here. And that way, any changes that you make will be reflected on any future versions of the calendar, or if you have to step away and come back, you can know which project you're working on, and your edits will be saved. So I'm going to begin by editing the cover page of the calendar. And to edit any page within the calendar editor, you can just click on the page. So here I am on the specific page editor, And the first thing you might notice is there's a pink box around the calendar page. This is what's known as our bleed zone. And it's just a warning to let you know that if you place any items in this area, it could possibly be cut off during the printing and trimming process. So we just recommend to avoid placing text or heads of images in this pink area just to be extra safe. And this pink box will not print on your calendar. So let's start by editing the cover photo. To edit any photo or add a photo in your calendar, you can add from two different places. You can add from your Ancestry photo library, which you can access on the left-hand side, and you can select a specific person. Or you can add from your general photos library, which this will populate with photos as you add them. And you can also upload photos from your computer. So if you've got stuff on your computer you'd like to include, that's where you would do that. I'm going to work from the Ancestry category because I have more photos there to choose from. So I'll start by selecting the photo placeholder that I'd like to replace. You can see it's outlined in a blue box. And then I'm going to select the photo that I'd like to replace it with. Once I click on the photo, it will automatically populate into the placeholder. I can also upload my own photo, as I mentioned. So I'm going to head back to the Photos tab. I'm going to choose the Upload Photo button, and then I'm able to browse files on my desktop and add them right into my photo library. And here you can see the map has been populated. I'd like to swap out this photo with the map instead of the one that I chose. So I want it to be selected with that blue box. And then again, you just simply click on the photo and it will replace itself. There are lots of things you can do to edit the photo once you've added it to the page. With the photo selected, you can hover your mouse over any corner, one of those white corner dots, and you'll see a double-sided arrow appear. You can click and hold to drag that dot out or in to make your photo much smaller or much larger. You can see now that I've made it larger, it's in the bleed zone. So to move the photo, you can click down with your mouse while holding and drag the photo. And you'll see a little blue dotted line appear to help you center the photo. You can also use this top toolbar to make edits to the photo, such as removing or changing the border. There's a default border on the placeholders, a gray border. So if you wanted to change the color, you would select this border button and change it to a different color. You can pick from here or pick anywhere in this color picker here. And then you can increase or decrease the thickness of the border by using these up and down arrows. If you want to remove the border completely, you can change the thickness to 0. I'm going to leave mine at 5. And here, I'll make it a different color so it doesn't look so much like the border box around it. Perfect. Another thing you can do with a photo is you can round the corners of the photo using this rounded button. If you have a rectangular photo, it will turn into an oval. And if you have a square photo, then it will be a true circle. And you can go back and forth between square corners or rounded corners, whatever you prefer. You can also crop an image. So when I first uploaded this map, it's much bigger than the crop box is showing. So if I wanted to see more of the photo, I can make the crop box larger, but I can also click the photo and drag it within the crop box to move it around. So I'm moving my photo so I can see some of this text down here. And once I get it to a place that I like, I can choose the done button and my crops will save. So that's a good amount of photo editing for the cover page. I'm going to move to another page and show some tips for text editing next. So to get out of a page once you've made edits, you'll just hit the done button in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll be taken back to the main page. The next type of page I'm going to edit is the bottom calendar page. And I'm going to focus on editing text elements within this calendar page. So you can see here I have a few existing text elements. If I wanted to edit those elements to make them say something different, I can double click on the text box and I'll see a flashing cursor. And then I can type whatever I'd like to add to that piece of text. If I'd like to add another piece of text, so there's an event on here that I don't see, maybe I want to add April Fool's Day, I can duplicate an existing piece of text. So to do that, you'll select an existing piece of text, then head to the upper right-hand corner and use this Duplicate Elements button. If you select that, you're able to see the second piece of text that has appeared. You can click that and drag it wherever you'd like it, much like you did for the photo editing. And then you can double click on it again and highlight it, delete the text and type something new. So you can see here I've added April Fool's Day, and since I duplicated the text element, it looks the same as my other elements on the page. So that's like the easiest way to add more events one at a time without the add event tool that we use at the beginning. If you'd like a piece of text on your calendar to stand out a little bit more, have a little pizzazz, you can use this top toolbar to edit your photo. Select the piece of text you want to edit, and you can change the alignment to be left or right or center. You can change the text similarly to how we changed the border color. You can change the text color by choosing one of the predetermined colors or one of your own. You can also change the font size by using these arrows to go up and down. You can see April Fool's Day here is getting larger and it's now red. And you can also use this font style picker to make it a different type of font if you're so inclined. So you can choose whatever makes sense for you. Just a lot of fun ways to really personalize that text. One thing I did want to point out is since I made April Fool's Day larger and a different style of font, it did wrap onto a second line. So if you don't prefer that look or you want it to be on one line, it's really easy to make your text box a little bit bigger so that it stays on one line. And you would just hover your mouse until you see that double arrow over the white block, click and drag it wider, and that will make your text go back to one line. You can also add photos to your calendar page, and you can do that the same way we've been adding photos. So from your photos library or your Ancestry library, I'm just going to add one here from my photos library. When you click on a photo, oftentimes it will appear larger than you might need it. So again, you'll just hover your mouse to get that arrow, and you can resize it to be smaller to fit on your page. Then you can click and drag it to wherever you'd like it to be on the calendar page. You can also use the arrows on your keyboard to move it just slightly if that's easier. You can also add embellishments to your calendar pages. And in order to do that, you'll head to the Embellish tab on the left-hand side. Here you can see a library of lots of categories of embellishments. So flags, frames, letters, numbers, and you can add all of these little details to your calendar. I'm going to choose the flowers and leaves category. And you can scroll until you find one that you like. We've got lots of cute options. It's hard to pick. But I'm going to add this flower here. Again, they appear a little larger than you might want them to be, but it's really easy to drag and resize and move them to where you'd like them on the calendar. The final thing you can do for design to edit on a calendar page is the background of your calendar page. So we have an existing kind of floral background for all the pages of the calendar, but if you're looking for something different, you can head to our background section. Here you'll see again a bunch of categories of backgrounds you can choose from. And you can also choose to add backgrounds to just this page or every page in your calendar using these buttons up here. I'm going to choose just this page for now. And then it's really simple to swap out a background. You just find the background that works for you and click on it, and it will swap itself out. You don't have to select anything on the page. You can just choose the background. This is maybe a little bit more bold than I'm looking for. So I'm going to try a more simple background. Let's do this mustard color. Okay, this looks good to me. I'm gonna move forward with the mustard background, and I might actually want to use it on 1 or 2 more pages in my calendar. So we have a really awesome feature called favorites, and you can add backgrounds, embellishments, and photos so that you can access them on other pages really easily. And in order to add something to your favorites, you can hover over the element and then click on this heart in the upper left-hand corner. Then when you head to the favorites tab on the left-hand side and select the category, you can see here that my background is added there and I can access it anytime. So I'm going to select done in the upper right-hand corner. All right, and I have one more type of page I am going to show you how to edit, and that's the top page of your calendar. So again, just click on the page to begin editing it. And this is similar to the cover page that we edited, where you can just select the photo placeholder and swap it out. I'm going to choose from my Ancestry photo library once again. And with the placeholder selected, I'll find something that I want to swap it out with. And when I click on it, you can see it's taken the place of the placeholder. I'm going to remove the border again with that top toolbar and remove the border away to 0. And then one tool I wanted to talk about is the fit to page button. And this is really nice for these top calendar pages. If you select this button, your photo will then be automatically resized to fill the entire page. And this is more of a traditional looking calendar that you would get where you have a full picture on the top versus just the smaller picture. One thing to note though, with these older pictures, you can see this picture looks a little bit grainy because it's a small file. So when you use this tool, you just want to make sure that your file is not too small. Otherwise it might look pixelated or blurry when it prints. You can also add things on top of this. So if you wanted to add another photo on top, you can just click on that photo and it will be added. Again, I'm going to just click to drag and move it. Sometimes when you add photos from your Ancestry library, you'll see this data appear underneath the photo, which is the metadata that's linked to your Ancestry account. If you don't prefer that to be on your calendar page, you can just select it and use the remove elements button up here in the corner, or press delete on your keyboard, and that can delete that text. You can also double click on the text to edit it, as I showed previously. And then the final thing just to know is there and that you can use it is just to add a new piece of text from scratch. So there's not any text on this page that I can duplicate. So I'm going to go to the text button in the left-hand toolbar. And there are a few predetermined styles you can choose from. So I'm going to pick one here. And I can see a flashing cursor that tells me I'm ready to type a title if I want. And then with this text selected, I'm able to use all those text editing tools. So I can make it bigger, I can change the style, and I can move it around on my page. So all these tools that we've been talking about kind of build on each other, and you can use them on any of these pages in a variety of ways to really customize what you have for an end product. So now we've got a fair amount of our calendar pages edited. I'm ready to take a break here and send it back to Laurel. But before we do, we want to make sure we save our project in the upper right-hand corner of your toolbar. So press that save button before you exit. Make sure all your changes are saved. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen and send it back to Laurel.
Thanks, Meg. Fun to see Meg putting that together. As you can tell, it'll take you, more than 30 minutes to get your calendar together. You got to put your photos in every month and get all those birthdays right. So we wanted to show you some actual calendars that we've printed up, just to kind of give you more of an idea of the physical product that you can have shipped right to your house when you're done. So our calendars are 8.5 by 11 when they're closed up like this. Then obviously, oh man, let's see if I can do the math, 17 by 11 when they're open, 8.5 times 2. And they're on archival quality photo paper. So if it's hanging on a bright wall in your kitchen, the photo is going to stay bright all month, not going to fade. And one thing I like about our calendars, the cover is a thick paper and every single page is that same thick paper. So it doesn't switch to any flimsy paper on the inside. We've got the nice archival photo paper all the way through. You can see, like Meg was showing, you can add 2 photos to a page, some embellishments like this dog. Maybe that's the dog's birthday. I don't know. We got grandma's birthday over here. So it does come with the hole to hang it up really easily, and this nice black wire binding. So they're really high quality, hang it up all year. And like Meg was showing, how you can pull dates from old calendars. If you make one this year, you can make another one next year with different photos, but save all the birthdays and anniversaries you want to add. So I really like that feature. And just one more thing to show you, Meg's going to talk about in a second, but if you're making a calendar for someone else, you can add a gift card. We want to show you examples of our gift cards. You can choose from a few different designs. We print them out on this nice paper, put it inside an envelope into your order with no invoice or pricing or anything, and we can ship it directly to the recipient. So that's our calendars. I think they're pretty fun and just a fun way to never miss a family milestone throughout the whole year. So we're going to do one more quick poll, get a little more feedback from everyone who showed up. And I'm kind of excited about this one because it tells us a little bit about where you guys are from. So in just a second, another window will pop up and it's going to ask you to choose where you're dialing in from today. Let's see. We can get it coming. There it is. And we did it by time zone. It's an easy way to clump people into groups. Are you in Eastern time, Central time, Mountain time, Pacific, or some other time zone, somewhere maybe international? I'm in Central time. And we have some of our team is on Eastern time. I think we have some on Mountain time. So we've got folks all over the place, and we're just curious to see where you are dialing in from. Okay, it looks like Eastern time takes the win, and we got Central time where I am at a close second. That's interesting. No, cool to see 3 folks in completely other time zones. So thanks everyone for making it. We really appreciate that you're taking the time to learn a little bit more about how to make your own calendar. So now Meg is going to finish up with just kind of the final steps once your calendar is ready to order. And then we'll have a little bit of time for some more questions and answers right at the end when she wraps up.
Thanks, Laurel. I'm sharing my screen again here to pick up where we left off. So we stepped away from our project. Oftentimes you're not going to work on it all in one day and order it. So you might have to work in shifts and come back and make sure it's just right. So anytime you save a draft of a project, you can edit it, access it and edit it in the projects tab. So on the home page, you can hit my projects in the center and you can see all of your creations listed. So I can see here the Hamilton demonstration we were just working on, and I can hit edit to continue on with that project. So I can make additional edits here. Let's pretend I filled in all these pages though, and we are ready to add to cart. So you'll hit this add to cart button in the upper right-hand corner. And we do have a review here. We just ask that you really look over your project, make sure everything's spelled correctly, the dates are correct, because once we send it to the printer, we aren't able to make any changes to the file, and it will print as is whatever you've put in your project. So we just want to make sure you really double checked and it's exactly how you want it so we can deliver you a perfect project. So once you've added that, this will be your card. If you have anything else you've added, another book or a different display item, it will list it here as well. Then you can hit checkout to visit the final checkout page. So you'll add your shipping address. And then here's the spot here where you can add a gift note. You'll check this box and it will pop up a message for you to type a gift note. And you can use this 3-dot button right here to choose between the 3 designs of gift note. And then you can choose your shipping method and add your payment information here. And then you'll choose the pay button to check out. I placed an order earlier today. So I ordered a calendar earlier and I'm let's pretend I just placed that order right now. So to see that order, you're going to head to my account. Then you're going to select orders in the left-hand side. And you can see your order's been placed right here. And you can hit the show detail button to see that family history calendar you just ordered. And the reason I'm showing you this is because there's a few awesome features that you can do while you're waiting even for your calendar to get to you. So the first thing you can do is you can use the share creation button. And when you select that, you're able to add a title about your creation, who made it, and then a description. So if you wanted to share this with friends or family who might be interested in ordering their own copy, you can update your details, and you have a copy link button here. So you can copy the link and email it or text it to your friends or family members who might be interested. Here's what the preview link looks like. So you can see all the pages that we went through. And then whoever's looking at the share page can click this button right here to add a copy of the order to their cart. And there's also your personal share code listed here. So anytime someone uses your share code, you get $10 off your next order, and they get $10 off their order as well. So that's pretty valuable. The other things you can do from your orders page is you can add the calendar to your cart again. So if you're sending multiple copies to different people, you don't have to build the calendar each time. You can place one order and then keep referencing that order and adding it to the cart, and then just following the checkout process and putting in a new address or adding a different gift note. So it makes it really simple to reorder. And the other thing you can do is continue on with your creation. So if you want to send another copy to someone, but you'd like to change one or two things about it, you can choose that button, and then it will pop up a whole new version of that same project. You can save it with a new title, and everything will be saved to this new draft that you have started from the calendar you just built. So that's how everything works in the cart once you place your order. And that's everything I have for building a family history calendar. So thank you so much. And I'm going to send it back to Laurel.
Sweet. Thanks, Meg. We've had a few questions throughout that people have asked. And if you have any more questions, feel free to type them in. Click Q&A at the bottom of your screen. And we will answer them, either directly type it to you or right now out loud. So I'm going to ask Meg a couple of the questions that came up either frequently or that we've heard before, maybe via email, things, just to make sure we get as much information, helpful information to you as we can. So the first question is, will this webinar be available for future reference if they want to rewatch or maybe miss something?
Yes, this webinar will be posted on our YouTube account the next day or two. And we also have lots of shorter videos on our YouTube as well that really break down the text editing features, the photo editing features. And a lot of the things I showed you today are useful in any family history project you would want to build if you're making a book or a poster. So our YouTube has a wealth of knowledge that I've spent a lot of time culminating, and there's just a lot of stuff that you can learn from those videos. So in addition to the webinar, check some of those out too.
Yeah, and we will send an email after this webinar is over. Not instantly when it's over, because we have to take the video and upload it to YouTube. And then we'll get an email out to everyone who attended, and even the folks who couldn't make it, who signed up, with that link to the video so that they can rewatch, and a link to our YouTube page in general if you want to see those more specific videos that Meg was talking about. Another question that came up was, do I have to have an Ancestry account connected to make a calendar? What are some things I can do if I don't have an Ancestry account?
Well, I'm going to share my screen once more here just to answer this question a little bit more easily. So if you don't have an Ancestry calendar, you can follow, or if you don't have an Ancestry account and you still want to make a calendar, you definitely can do that. You'll follow all the same steps of this webinar. The only thing you don't need to do is log in with an Ancestry account. You can just create a MyCanvas account instead. And then the biggest change is that when you are in the Add Events toolbar that pops up, this family tree button will be grayed out. So you won't be able to access this information here. You'll just need to add all of the events by typing them as custom events. So you can add as many events as you'd like with this tool. It's a little bit more tedious, but it's pretty easy. You just type it, click the date, and add the event, and it appears. So that's just a really simple way to add all those events, get them into your calendar, and then you don't need that Ancestry account.
So those were the two most common questions. We had a few more specific to different aspects of making the calendars that I think some members of our team have been answering along the way. So I think that about does it for our webinar, and we're really glad that everyone who's here was able to make it. If you do think of any questions, 3 minutes from now when this webinar is over, don't worry, you can always contact us. If you come to mycanvas.com, there's a question mark in the top corner that you can click to get your questions answered, or you can always drop us an email. It's help@mycanvas.com. We'll also, when we send you an email later today, we'll put that email address in there. So it's always pretty easy to get in contact with us to get your questions answered. We're always happy to help people get their projects made. I want to thank everyone for coming. Thanks, Meg, for the awesome demo. And keep an eye on your email. You'll be hearing from us really soon. Thanks.